There has been more than 20 assassination attempts on the life of President Captain Ibrahim Traore, and today I'm going to talk about why. My name is Ambassador Tim Ford Jr. of the African Union AUCS, and I've been living over in East Africa, Tanzania for almost 5 years now, and I help my people invest, rebuild, and return over to the continent of Africa. But today, we're going to discuss why President Captain Ibrahim Traore has had more than 20 assassination attempts on his life. So let's go. We all know President Captain Ibrahim Traore has been doing a lot over in Burkina Faso. He's been mobilizing his people, and he's been sounding the alarm and being bold and kicking the French out of his country in the affairs that Burkina Faso has going on. With government initiatives in place like agriculture advancement, infrastructure development, and the strengthening of the military, he's becoming a big enemy to the Western powers who are in power right now. There have been heavily funded operations aimed at destabilizing Burkina Faso. Millions have been poured into efforts to attempt to overthrow him, which shows the extreme lengths that they are willing to go to attempt to eliminate President Ibrahim Traore and keep control of the region that they once had control of. Now, a few weeks ago, they actually caught a foreign agent attempting to bribe soldiers and pay them 5 billion francs in order to finance a coup against President Ibrahim Traore. The plan had began months prior when the individual came into the country disguised as an investor trying to help the country develop and put his finances into a good place in order to generate revenue. Now, he came in with his briefcase and his money and trying to flex and flaunt and say, hey, I'm here to help the country, so listen to what I got to say. I've witnessed and experienced that so many times over here in East Africa, Tanzania. It's always people that think that they have a lot of money, that they can sort of push their weight around and sort of force people to do things. I've experienced this several times over here with people who feel arrogant because they have this money in their pocket. But it's a new time, and people are learning that it's more than money that you need in order to have the proper connections during these times. You have to treat people properly, and you have to be moving with righteousness in order to get what you want to get done during these times. Evil is dying. Evil is not going to be able to withstand during these times right now. So in order for you to make the proper connections to get where you want to go, you have to be in unison. You have to be on one accord with Christ in the mix in order to get what you are trying to get. Without that being in the mix, it's not going to happen. Now, to the public, this brother seemed to be a businessman seeking opportunities within the country. But behind the scenes, he was actually working on the evil, sinister plan to try and overthrow President Ibrahim Traore. And according to intelligence reports, he was not working alone. He had very, very deep ties to powerful foreign entities that have tried to destabilize Burkina Faso in the entire Sahel region. But one thing they underestimated was the loyalty of President Ibrahim Traore's soldiers that he have in place. They did not anticipate them to be as loyal as they have been. They didn't know that this tree. So they didn't know that his soldiers would be so committed to the cause and committed to backing Ibrahim Traore up. So they backed him up so much that the soldiers pretended to work with the foreign agent only long enough in order to gain intel to actually plan a counter coup in the future. So they with the agent, riding with him, pretending like, okay, yeah, we're about to do this, only to turn their back on him and expose him like the agent that he is. They didn't expect to meet this kind of force and resistance because most of the time in the past, some of our people have sold out. That's usually how they've infiltrated and took over movements in the past. They look for a coward or a snitch and offer him a little bit of money in order to sell his soul and sell his people out. And he do something cowardly and weak and take out a leader or help foreign entities take out a powerful leader who are actually trying to mobilize our brothers and sisters. But this time they didn't anticipate that the people would be so rowdy, that the people would be so with and for President Ibrahim Traore. Everyone in Burkina Faso wants the best for Burkina Faso. Not only does President Ibrahim Traore got a few people behind him, this man has his entire nation behind him, rooting for him, hoping and praying that he presses forward and takes the country where it needs to go. At one point, he even attempted to step down and put someone else in power so that they can run the country, but they insisted that he stayed in position and take the country to where it needed to go. he's been doing such an awesome job in leading and standing bold and taking risk and doing many of the things that we wish a lot of the African leaders would be doing all across the continent. If everyone adopted the way that President Ibrahim Traore is moving, the continent will jump light years ahead of the competition and the rest of the world who are trying to hold them down. And that's exactly what they do not want. Since we're here, gotta show y'all some of the products real quick.
This I'm not your body ready. Not your body.
Yeah, natural product.
Not your body.
Yeah.
Not your body.
Yeah. Say, yeah. Come closer. Come. Busy beachy. Foreign entities have often used war and instability as a tool in order to destabilize nations and lay hands on their natural resources. They'll finance coups and put wars in place in order to make that nation weak and dependent upon them. Then once that nation is dependent upon them, they will come in and so-called put deals in place that's helping the country. But in actuality, the deal is extortion. They're not paying fair prices, and they're basically trying to get minerals and resources at dirt cheap prices so that they can take them back to their countries and jack up the prices and make things very unaffordable for some of the people that's within the country that they actually got the resources from. Like, go figure. They will go to a country, take the resources from that country, and not even give that country a good deal on the resources that they mine, on the resources that they're trying to put back into the world. They actually charge them double to bring it back into their country. It's a crazy game that they had put in place, but now the time is changing, and people like our brother, President Captain Ibrahim Traore, is helping our people wake up to see the reality of what's going on while we're dealing with these foreign entities. See, the West doesn't want Africa free and having control of its own resources and minerals. And they really, really don't want Africa to have a savior that'll help them to stand up and see what we can do as a people. That's why they're so adamant on stopping President Captain Ibrahim Traore. If you look into the mainstream media, they are not talking about what he is doing. They're not talking about the moves that he's making and how bold he's moving and how he's putting his country in a better position with the move and the strategic things that he's doing within the agriculture sector and within the infrastructure sector, just to name a few examples. So by them continuing to attempt to assassinate him, they are attempting to scare us at the same time. They want us to be fearful of stepping up. They want us to be fearful of trying to do for ourselves. They want us to be fearful of getting our minerals in order, getting our affairs in order, taking advantage of what God has put us in control of, and being wise with what we have access to. It's been a long time since the Berlin Conference, and the Western entities are still trying to live within the parameters of what the Berlin Conference put in place. But this generation, our people, us, we, you and I, we are in charge of fighting that. We are in charge of making the new paradigm. We are in charge of pressing forward and creating something new. With examples like President Captain Ibrahim Traore in place, he's empowering so many of us to continue to stand up and be bold and not continue to be subjugated to what the Western world are trying to force us to be subjugated to. So they want us to be fearful. They want to try and take him out, to make us sit down and not do what he's doing. But we're going to have to continue to pray for our brother. We're going to have to continue to stand in the gap for him. We're going to have to continue to hope that he presses forward so that he can continue to be a beacon of light and an example to what the entire continent of Africa can do if they begin to be bold and stand up to what the Western world is trying to do to us as a people. What he's been able to do in this short amount of time is nothing short of amazing. It has to be God ordained, the work that he's doing. And as we're doing the God ordained work, the enemy will try to come and stop the God ordained work. So we have to continue to stay strong and continue to use Burkina Faso as an example. Many times our movements have been stopped and infiltrated because of suckers and haters and backbiters and Negroes who don't know how to play their role and play their position. But to see these soldiers stand strong and actually turn their back on the agent and call the agent out and kick him out for what he's trying to do, I pray that this is a chain reaction and many of the people see that it's time to stop being suckers. It's time to stop being Judases. It's time for us to come together and stand behind those who are being bold and trying to push our people in the right direction. The entire country of Burkina Faso has become a great example for what we can do as a people. Not only their president who's in charge right now, but the people in the army and those who are under him who are continuing to follow the mission and the vision that he has in place. This is a great example, and I'm getting chills just talking about what they are over there doing right now. To stand and not take that amount of money, man, come on. It's a new time, it's a new day, and it's a new era. So we got to stand up and stop being cowardly, stop being weak, and stop being scared of what these Western powers have put in place. Their power has fallen. The time is now. We have to stand up and get into our positions and be bold. Continue to pray for our brother. Continue to stand strong for him. Continue to sound his name. Show our people about him. Talk about what he's doing over there. Right now, that is my son's hero. T3 see a picture of Ibrahim Traore. He's like, oh, I know him, Daddy. He's a leader. He's already talking about him. So we have to keep these narratives going, keep the narrative changing so we can stand up as a people and be bold in what we can do. He's a great example. He's going to be able to bring into fruition everything he's working towards because it is written. It is time for us to step up as a people. It's time for us to lock arms. The Most High has let us free. It's time for his people to be let go. But we just have to take that risk and take the steps and go through the adversity and go through the dark times. Right now, we are pioneering something new. So we're going to have to go through the dark. We're going to have to go through some times where we don't understand where we're going or who we're going to run into. But we have to trust what God told us to do and what time he told us it was. And we're going to be okay, all right? So I'm excited to hear what you guys think about the assassination attempts on President Captain Ibrahim Traore. Who do y'all think it is, and why do y'all think they actually trying to do this to this brother? All he's trying to do is put his country in a good position, help his people, and move the world forward. This man trying to feed the world with his agriculture plan, and people trying to kill him. It's crazy. So why? He's just trying to help his people and help the world. Let me know what y'all think in the comment box, all right? And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned to the content while we'll continue to bring content about the continent of Africa and a lot of the history that we have been lied to about as a people. And also, if you're thinking about coming to the continent of Africa, I have free resources where you can get a free course or a free document that gives you everything you need to know in order to come over here and invest, rebuild, or return if you're trying to come over here to the continent of Africa. If you're interested in getting those free resources, click the link in the description box and I got you. And if you want a one-on-one consultation, I offer those as well. And we have Swahili courses to help you get competent and well-versed before you decide to come over to the continent of Africa. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. I don't take it for granted. I hope this video was able to bring you some value and you can see what we are about to do as a people and why they're so scared of us coming together and building, all right? Y'all stay focused out there. Don't let these people take your shalom peace. Don't let these people allow the spirit of fear to overtake you. Trust the process and trust what God told you to do and stay focused on your journey, all right? Shalom.